Hey guys, good morning, or whatever time you're watching this. It's 10:45 for me and I still haven't made breakfast, but I'm starting it now. I've been having coffee with heavy whipping cream all morning. I usually do half and half, but I love it with heavy whipping cream, and we had some, so I did that today. I'm making a big batch of just very buttery scrambled eggs. I cut up a fresh pineapple, and we've got some Cuban crackers from a bakery in Miami that my mom just brought up that we're gonna have with butter. I'll probably have one and I'll let the kids indulge. We are staying home today. It is rainy and I don't wanna go anywhere. I have zero makeup on, but I have done my morning skincare routine. And I thought it would be fun to sit down and just answer several questions that you guys asked me in my recent story, where I asked what kind of videos do you want me to be making soon. And some will be videos in the future and some I can sit down and answer right now. I will sit and chat with you guys in a little bit and answer some of those questions for you. So get a nice hot cup of tea and sit and enjoy a little chat time with me. So here's my list, purple construction paper. I wrote down all the requests from the people that commented asking for specific things from me. Some of these, of course, like cooking videos, day in the life videos, they will be coming for sure, just not today. Someone, Fanita, requested another book series. I think she's in the middle of the Excellent Wife book series and is really enjoying that. No books come to mind, honestly. I'm really into just Bible studies right now, and there are actually several that I really want to do with you guys. That was another request, Bible studies, from 2 or 3 different people. Topical Bible study was another request. So I thought I could address some of these right now. Somebody asked, Ashley Davis asked, how to live in a consumerist world while staying humble and being an example to our children. So I think contentment is something that we're all gonna battle, especially in America, where everybody, you know, excess and abundance and ease is the trial of America. It's the distraction of the enemy in America. It's gonna be a battle forever. So some practical ways that I fight that is I rarely go to the stores. I only go if and when I need to. I also do not stop for treats every time I leave the house. Like get a coffee and get this and get that. I rarely eat out. When it's just me and the children, we'll pack lunches or snacks. We'll eat in the car. We eat at home. We make sure we're full before we leave so we don't get hungry while we're out. Getting treats out and about is a very special and rare occasion for us. And the reason I do it, I don't want to shape and make their minds think every time you leave home, you get to go through a drive-through and just spend all your money on a $5 coffee. I want them to think home. Have good quality, nutritious, cheaper food at home, and then save your money and go out for the thing you have to go out for. Not go out to seek out pleasure and ease, but instead find pleasure and ease at home with the simple things, and then have occasional treats, because treats are a blessing, but we don't want to overindulge and we don't want to be gluttonous and excessive, right? I don't go to stores because I love shopping, and when I go to stores, I will always see something that I want, and then I feel the temptation to start wanting that thing. Now with the internet and Amazon and everything, I have to work on not going to browse on Amazon or Pinterest, because I will want new shoes, new clothes, new this, new that, and it's not something I really need. First of all, I have plenty, but then it becomes a lack of contentment and a temptation to go spend money unnecessarily. So I think avoiding the stores is one very practical way, and then exposing yourself to things that don't feed that. Like if you watch stuff that, even some YouTube channels where everything is decorated to perfection, it makes you want things that you don't need or have the money for. So omit the things in your life that make you struggle. I had to omit going to stores. I cannot browse Amazon. What makes you tempted to consume? Take those out of your life, you know? That's one thing. And then being humble and being an example for your kids. I think that, you know, what's that saying, more is caught than taught. You will be surprised how much they see your habits, your actual habits, and learn from those. So if you are a complainer, even if you tell your children every day, let's not complain, they will, because they hear you. If you have, you know, negative responses to others' mistakes on the road, then they might struggle with that, because even if you say, let's be patient and kind, when you're put in those positions where you need to practice patience and kindness, what do they see? What do they see you living? We can give speeches and lectures, but what does our actual life look like? And that's what I think should be our main focus as parents. We can make our kids read their Bible, but if they don't see us reading ours, what are they going to do when they move out, you know? So example is key in the way we sound, the way we dress, the way we talk, the way we express ourselves, the way we handle trials, the way that we handle scary moments, the way we handle blessings and joy and easy things, all of it. Examples, right? What do you say when the day is gorgeous and going smoothly? Do you give any attention to the fact that the Lord is blessing you? Tell your children, look how kind the Lord is. Look how nice this day has been for us. Look how peaceful it is. Look how happy we all are. Praise God. You know, give praise to where praise is due, the Lord. And then when there's scary things or hard things or trials, let's run to the Lord, guys. We need to pray. When there's conflict in the home and no one's getting along, you guys, we need to work together to be more peaceful. Let's ask the Lord to help us. Let's practice what we hope for their life. And I think it keeps us on our toes too, right? We are molding little minds, so let's be careful how we do that. So I hope that's helpful and encouraging. There is sickness in the house again, unfortunately. So I'm making Ivan a chicken soup and just reading these as I wait for the pot to boil. So Hello Dear asked two things. One about setting boundaries with friends and family. The other about being around people who draw you closer or away from God. I definitely would minimize your time with people that draw you away from God, and maybe include them in groups of people that draw you closer to God, and maybe search Bible studies or different women's activities and events through churches that might help you find people to help you draw closer to God. Also, whatever you are inputting in your life is going to have an effect on whether you're drawing to or away from God. You know, that saying, garbage in, garbage out. If you're, you know, in magazines and worldly movies and worldly shows and worldly music and worldly radio shows, you're not really feeding your soul. And what's going to come out of that is not going to just be spiritual things. It's going to be the opposite. You're going to desire worldly things. Your flesh is going to feel weak. You're not going to be being reminded of the things that you need to be being reminded of. In Hebrews it says to encourage each other day by day while it is still called today. You need to do that through the things you choose to put into your life. Not just the people, but also whatever you're listening to, whatever you're reading, whatever you're watching, and whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're talking about. All those things will draw you closer or further away from the Lord, and it is a daily practice. In Psalm 1 it says, blessed are those, I can't remember the first thing, but it says, for the law of the Lord, they dwell on his law day and night, something like that, or the law of the Lord is their delight, something like that. And on his law they meditate day and night. Like, we need to practice these things. We don't just float through life. We have to practice thinking on the Lord. Wake up, start your day with Jesus. Be in the Word, be in prayer. Meditate on the things you read about. Put people in your life that are involved in the same things, that care about God and growing in holiness, and make sure the things you bring into your life are feeding your spirit, not feeding your flesh and pulling you away. I'm a big fan of not just making sure there's good stuff and keeping all the bad. I'm a fan of making sure there's good stuff and getting rid of all the bad. It's like, I will drink you know, mostly water, but every now and then I'll drink water mixed with a little poop. No, how about you just only drink clean water and never drink water with poop in it? Like, like that's how our spiritual life should be too. And then as far as setting boundaries goes, are you a people magnet? Because I feel like I don't have to set many boundaries because I'm not a people magnet. I know you all love me, you think so great of me, but trust me, the people that live close to me are not that interested or excited about me. I have a few very close friends and nobody else really seems to need to be around me much. So it's kind of funny. Boundaries is not something I have to set very often. I'm very clear in communicating. So like, let's say I'm gonna have somebody over for the day. I always set a time frame. I don't just say, come over at 2 and leave this open-ended visit. No. What does 2 to 4 sound like for you? What does 2 to 5 sound like? I really need to end our visit by this time because I really need to do such and such, you know? So I try to say words like that instead of I need you to leave by 4. That doesn't sound very nice. I need to end our visit around 4 because that's usually when I start dinner and I want to make sure I have everything in order before, you know, Hector gets home or whatever. And so as far as friends go, I always have like an end time for visits. Family, we don't have family nearby except my mom, and she lives on our property, so we definitely have boundaries, but she's very respectful of them because she lives here, so she's kind of has to be, you know. But I've not experienced living near family, so I think just clear communication. I think clear communication is the answer to so many things. If you have hurt feelings, communicate. If you're angry, communicate. If you can't get over something your friend said or did, communicate. If you're bothered at something and you just can't shake it off, communicate. If you need someone to do something different than what they're doing, communicate. If you feel like your friend is blind to something, communicate. Like, just talk to people. Talk to people and do it in love and gentleness, and it will be better received that way. Nothing, it doesn't have to be negative to be straight up with people, but it really does help like live a more harmonious life with others. So I am a huge fan of communication. It really it makes me feel closer to people too. Like when people talk to me and I understand their mind and their heart, I feel closer to them automatically. It's like this love language. I feel like we bonded because we were real. When you're not real, there's not really a bond. And I just love realness. It's like, I love you more because you talk to me, you know? I need to go stir the soup. I'll be back. Okay. Delicious chicken soup simmering on the stove. And I'm in my room on this rainy Wednesday. I cannot believe how quiet it is in my house. It's very nice. So I answered those. Bible studies coming soon. I've got 2 people. Melissa F asking, has anything changed as far as being a wife, a mom, or a homemaker after Calvinism? That question had me thinking for a long time because I honestly don't think so. I could be forgetting something, blind to something, or overlooking something. But what I do know, I mean, I've even asked Hector, like, did we used to tell our kids that God loved them? I hope so. I don't remember. But that's one thing that I do now, very much so, is tell my children that God loves them. Jesus loves them. Jesus wants them. Jesus wants them to draw near to him. He wants to hear their thoughts and their hearts. He loves them and wants them. I also talk about the Bible with them quite a bit, but I've always done that. And I ask them questions. I'm trying to teach them to think critically about everything, including scripture. Like, it's like, what does this verse say? So then what does it mean? Oh, what it says. Okay. So what if somebody came and told you it didn't mean that, it meant something else? What would you think? They're wrong. Probably. You can research it further, but taking scripture at face value is the goal, right? That's the authority. No matter who says what, this is the authority. So we do talk about that sometimes. And thankfully, I never entertained compatibilism on a daily basis. So I've always felt like my life and every single decision I make, all the things that I did intentionally with my children, with my husband, in my home, were making impact in my children's lives. I did not think that everything was set in stone, or I didn't think about this every day. Everything is pretty much set in stone. There's no such thing as possibilities. Everything is happening the way it's gonna happen, and it can't be otherwise. I didn't entertain those thoughts on a daily basis. If I did, then maybe my marriage and my homemaking and parenting would be different, but thankfully I did not entertain those things. I really lived with purpose and intentionality every day. So that's a good question. It made me think a lot, but thankfully I don't think much has changed. And then someone asked to hear more about my transition from Calvinism. It is still one of the biggest things in my life, going on 3 years now, and there's different phases through this healing process, and I have been through so many emotions through it all. So I think it's just still that. I think I just am still healing. Talking about it is part of my healing. So the people that are like, why do you keep talking about it? Well, because it's part of my healing. I want to talk about it. It's important to me. If that doesn't satisfy you, I'm so sorry. This is important to me. This is my story. I can see how God is using it in other people's lives, and I'm free to talk about it. This is my vlog. It's important to me. It's part of my healing process. I'm not being mean. I'm going to talk about it. I have a clear conscience before the Lord to talk about it. I am not rude or unkind or judgmental. I'm going to talk about it. So that's where I'm at right now. And there's more, I'm sure, unexpected twists and turns to come, part of the journey, the healing process that I will face. But right now I feel peaceful, so peaceful, so free. So, you know, and I have different moments depending on what I'm thinking about. Thankfully, I don't feel angry. I don't feel bitter. I don't feel resentful. I don't feel blindsided or betrayed. These are all things I have gone through. I don't feel hateful. I don't feel like kicking them out of the kingdom. Never have. I don't feel like bashing. That I really haven't felt like bashing or being vengeful. I've not felt those things. So yeah, I will definitely share with you guys though more as I continue to walk through this healing process. Let's see, my skin routine, Priscilla, I'll do a video on that again. I didn't know anybody was interested, but I'm happy to share what I've been doing, and makeup as well. 53 asked for that. And someone asked, Ashley Davis actually, I already had one from you. Yep, maybe you put 2 comments, maybe I wrote it separate, but thoughts on technology and social media. I mean, obviously both serve good purposes when used properly and wisely and with discernment. But I definitely think that they could be a huge distraction to our life. They can be a huge hindrance to our holiness. They can make relationships less profound and meaningful. They can make us fall into all sorts of sin, you know, laziness, idleness, dissatisfied, so many things. So I've made social media mistakes. You know, that's hard when you say something stupid or it comes across, or something might seem like a good idea when you post it, and then later you're like, that was a really bad idea, and then you have to live with the fact that you're embarrassed publicly. Social media, you know, mistakes, I hate that. Also, you don't know how your social media affects others. And of course, that's not necessarily entirely your responsibility, but there is some responsibility, of course. I just try to minimize it. I mean, we never have the TV on unless we're all sitting in front of the TV with a planned viewing of something. Like, the children are not allowed to turn the TV on. The children are not allowed to talk to Alexa. The children are not allowed to use their fires or anything without permission and scheduled time. So I know a lot of families, children just grab their stuff and use it or just turn the TV on. No, we have scheduled TV time in this house. I never have the TV on for myself. I do listen to YouTube videos sometimes, but when I do, it's usually when I'm doing chores and the children are occupied. I don't ever choose technology over them. Of course, if I'm filming a video like right now, they're playing Legos, I'm gonna do a video. Like, I'm free to do that, of course. I'll usually edit at night. But yeah, there's just gotta be some intentionality and planning and thinking through the use of your technology and social media, because if there isn't, it will pretty much consume your life. I think it's just the inevitable risk is that you will be consumed by it. You will be addicted to it. So just be mindful of it so that you can control it and not it control you. That's what I share there. Somebody asked about finances and budgeting. Budgeting, honestly, ever since, even before I was married, I used to do the envelope system. And then later, after I got married, I learned about Dave Ramsey, and we went through his Financial Peace University, and he recommends the cash envelope system, which I had already been doing. So I've done that forever. I haven't done it for the last maybe 4 years. And what changed is going to the bank got harder every week because of school and other activities. We started to make a little more money, so I felt less pinched with, like, we can't spend this, we can't spend that. I already don't spend money. Like, I am home most of the time. When I go out, I don't spend money. I don't go to places that cost money. Like, I don't take the kids out to eat. We don't go to, like, the trampoline place. We don't go places. So when I do, it's probably like once every few months, and I usually pack a lunch. So I don't know, we don't eat out that often as a family. When we buy things, it's planned. So even though we don't do the cash envelope system, I feel like we stay well under budget because we're not spenders. So I highly recommend the cash envelope system, and I highly recommend Financial Peace University. As far as finances go, I feel like I'm really good at not spending money. I'm not that good at making money grow. I'm good at saving money, but finding creative ways to grow finances is not my expertise at all. I know many different methods. I know that Dave Ramsey has his views, and his views would be get out of debt first and then start investing. There's various ways to invest. And then Robert Kiyosaki is like the opposite. He uses debt as a tool. So he says invest now and be in debt as a tool so that you can make money even though you're in debt. So there's different approaches. I know people that have done both, and both have succeeded, but I am so bad at all that stuff. I'm very mundane and comfortable, and so I just keep doing the same thing forever, where other people think outside the box of, like, how can we, you know, like, I'm a long-term thinker, but more for character and relationships than finances. I'm not thinking, where are we going to be financially in 20 years? No, my brain is thinking about, what am I instilling in my children now so that in 20 years they are here or there? What am I doing in my marriage now and my friendships now so that in 20 years we're here or there? What am I doing for my body now that in 20 years I'm there? Finances is not one of those things that I think long-term about. So that's probably an area of weakness for me that I cannot give advice on, but hopefully Dave Ramsey will be of help to you. And Robert Kiyosaki, as much as he is a more risky approach, I have some things I appreciate about it, but I definitely prefer Dave Ramsey. I just think it's more conservative. He's a Christian, and he does use some scriptures that I think are really worth considering, to, like, not be a slave to the lender and things like that. So I don't think one is right over the other. I just think every person is going to have a different approach, you know? So that's what I have to say about that. Our businesses, Kayla Lopez asked, well, Hector's a realtor now, but we do have a coffee roasting business, and I have my Juice Plus business, and I do have a couple of other streams of income which are small, like YouTube and Patreon, and every now and then I get donations, one-time donations. My mom has her Cuban food truck, which I help her with, and it is considered a family business, but she gets the majority of the profits from that. But of course, she'll pay me way too much when I help her. And that's it for now. So we have a few streams of income there. We may get into flipping again, and we may get into rental properties. I don't know. And Brianna Peters asked about deciding where to live, location versus family, and then how to deal with a friend that lies or embellishes stories. That's definitely a pet peeve of mine too. I will say love them anyway, and fight against bitterness in your heart, and fight against judging them when they're talking and you can tell they're lying. Fight against being like angry at them or judging them when you hear them talk, because that will only affect you negatively, not them. And if you ever, you know, if you're really, really close to them, and you ever wanted to talk to them about it, you could, or you could just pray for them that the Lord would reveal that blind spot to them, because technically speaking, that's lying, and lying is a sin, right? So just work against not sinning in your heart towards them. That's the first most important thing I would say. Pray for them, and if you want to have a conversation, go for it. Just make sure it's loving. And then deciding where to live, location versus family. Well, we live far from family, and sometimes it's sad because I wish we were close to our cousins. The boys can see their cousins more often, but because they live in Florida, I'm so happy because it's so crowded and busy there, and I don't want to live there. So it's, you know, I don't know, depending on where your family lives. Like, if you have good relationships with your family, and it's really important that they be in your regular life, and your children see them and grow up with their aunts and uncles and grandparents and cousins, then depending on where they live and what kind of life you want for your family, it may be something to, you know, consider. And then if you don't like where they live, and you're willing to travel and have them come see you as often as possible so that you guys are still in each other's lives, but you don't have to live in the environment they live in, then not living near family may be the choice. But there's definitely not one right answer for that. I would say take it to the Lord. Pray, 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 and He will guide you. I'm going to tackle these last few ones here because there's only a few left, and the rest I'll just have to make individual videos for. So future videos to come: Bible studies, day in the life, cooking videos, skin routine, makeup, and I think that's it. So a few more questions here. How do we celebrate Christmas? This is Servant of Christ. What's my take on tradition and the origins? So I have looked into this. I have looked into this many times, and I watched the documentary last year about Christmas and the origins and all that. First of all, documentaries are always very biased. First of all, that doesn't mean I don't believe what it said, but we just need to know that, okay? They're always trying to convince you to believe what they're trying to show you. So we got to think about the other side. So how accurate are the origins? I don't know. Do I really care? Not really, because those origins don't affect me at all. I don't do anything about Santa. And there is nothing wrong with having a pretty tree in your house. Like, think about that for a second. What is wrong with having a pretty tree in your house? Nothing. Nothing. When you stand before the Lord, is he going to say you had a tree in your house and you decorated it? That was sinful. No, of course not. So, but if it's convicting to you, do not do it, okay? The verse that's used very often is, I think, from Jeremiah, about the tree being cut down and then plated with gold or silver, brought into your house to worship it. It's not talking about bringing a whole tree into their house. It's talking about using the wood from that tree and then making an idol out of the wood from that tree and then plating that idol made from the wood with gold or silver and then putting that idol in their house and worshiping it. It is not talking about a tree. So just know that. You should read it again with that mindset and you'll see that that's actually what it means. So Christmas trees are not in the Bible as a pagan thing. How do we celebrate Christmas? Very simply, we decorate. I made a decoration video the other day about my Christmas decor. We decorate with natural things, more wintry than Christmassy. The most Christmassy thing we have is a tree and stockings because we do gifts. Gifts are fun. We exchange gifts. Our family sends us gifts and we send our family gifts, and it's fun. And I have said this before, traditions change with culture. Man's traditions are not bad. Why are man's traditions bad? Man's traditions are just that. They're just traditions. There is a tradition to eat hot dogs on 4th of July. Is that man's tradition? Yes, it is. Is it sinful? No, of course not. There is nothing wrong with traditions that are made by men. God has designed us to think this way. We make special things. We celebrate things, right? He has made us that way. So we celebrate things, and usually celebrations revolve around some sort of one theme that we're celebrating, and we usually decorate some way or another for that thing, whatever it is. We usually have food, friends, and family, and we usually give something to someone, right? So just think about all the different celebrations. All those things are encompassed in celebration: decorating, food, people, and gifts. That is just the way we are because God made us that way. And man's traditions are not all bad. People might say you're Christianizing a pagan holiday. No, whatever. Today, Christmas is not a pagan holiday to anybody. It's tainted with consumerism, and it's been, become this Santa and elf thing. But that doesn't mean everyone has to be celebrating that. We can easily celebrate too. Just a fun day to set aside and remember that Jesus came to save us, that God came as the Savior to the world. Have food, friends, family, decorations, and exchange gifts. So I see it that simply. I really just see it that simply. Whoever has convictions about not celebrating Christmas should not. And I would never judge them for it. I think it's fine. This is a Romans 14 issue. If you feel free in Christ, you are blessed. If you do not feel free to do whatever, then don't. Because if you do it, just because someone else feels free, you don't feel free, and you do it anyway, then that's a sin. Do not ignore what you feel the Lord is leading you to do or not to do. And test the spirits. Test over and over. I have checked on this many times. It's not like I just don't even think about it. I have checked on this at least 5 times since I've been a Christian, at least. I really just always land in the same place. Just like I have checked on different topics many, many, many times since I became a Christian, and I still, most of them I land in the same place I was before. Some of them I've changed my mind on. So that's my thoughts. I will not judge anybody who thinks differently than me about it, but I encourage everyone to meet with the Lord about it themselves, Ask the Lord and he will show you what he wants for you, right? And then just staying on the theme of Christmas presents. I'm worried my husband will see this. Don't watch this, Hector. You can't watch this video, okay? Turn it off right now. I got him, let me show you. I have this very nifty closet door handle that unlocks with my fingerprints so the kids can't get in. So this is where all the Christmas stuff is. Ha So this is a massive 48 ounce French press stainless steel. It stays hot for 4 hours, cold for 9 hours, and iced for 24 hours. So, you know, my husband is a coffee man, so I thought he would love this. I went to the antique store and got him this old-fashioned little desk lamp. I've been eyeing it for months and they still had it, so I finally got it. They're remodeling his entire office, and when I go decorate, I'm giving him this for Christmas, but this will be part of his new office, so I'm excited to give him that. The boys asked for mostly airsoft related things this year, so they got grenades, they got vests with holsters, they got guns, glow-in-the-dark BBs, they got rifles. And this is not just from us. We told family members because they've never asked for a lot, but this year they each had 7 items they wanted. And I was like, man, they've never asked for so much, but I could spread the love and tell the family, and we all pitched in. Nerf bullet refills, like 500 Nerf bullets. What else? Stocking stuffers. I got them an Amazon card. I got them chapstick. I got them, what's it called? Orange Tic Tacs, because we watched Dude Perfect and they love orange Tic Tacs, and my boys have never tried them. So I got them orange Tic Tacs for their stockings. And then Kinder Joys, they love that, and got them that. And I can't remember what else. It's been here for weeks. Like, I did all my shopping before Thanksgiving, so this has been a crazy wreck for a while. So that's all I can share. My boys are getting to that age where they know what they want, and it's harder to shop like just, ooh, I think I want to get them that, you know. So Jennifer, hope that helps give some ideas. I'll share whatever we got in the description box, what we got for both hubby and them, with the exception of that lamp, because I got that at an antique store. I think this will be the last question from Sammy J. Robinson. How do I feel about the current environment, economics, and preparing homes well with food and books? So I think, first of all, the economy is awful. Ridiculous inflation, ridiculous gas prices, ridiculous. And it's funny because last year the boys and I have read this awesome book about economics, and it really taught me a lot that I didn't know before or understand before, and I see the things that it described in the book happening, and it's very interesting. Our environment, you know, I feel like sometimes it doesn't feel true because we're out here in the country. We live in a very conservative state. I feel very free with my homeschooling, with everything. And so I forget like how hard other places have it right now. Even though cost of living has gone up, and I have felt it, especially at the grocery store. That's like where I spend money, at the grocery store. I have felt it there, and with gas, but I fill my gas tank like every 2 to 3 weeks, so I don't feel it that much because, yes, I notice the price is different, but it goes so slow that it doesn't really hurt as bad as if I was filling it every few days or something, you know? It's just hard to watch, you know? I don't know that much about politics to like give my full opinion on things, but I do know that when we had Trump as president, he is a very brilliant businessman, and I noticed a lot of fantastic financial benefits from the way he was doing things. And now I notice the opposite in a detrimental way. It's very frustrating. So hopefully things will change soon for the better. As far as preparing for homes, maybe you're referring to like prepping, or maybe you're talking about preparing with food and books. Okay, so books, I love the library. We go at least once every couple of weeks and have a nice big stack. I also rotate the books on the coffee table with the books on our shelf regularly, so the children will see new books and they just grab them. I try to put things that are new out for them and get things that are new, but also that we've referenced recently in either a timeline card or a history lesson, so that they're like, oh, we talked about that, and they'll look further into it on their own. As far as food goes, I have a master list for food, and it's probably the same one that I shared with you guys years ago on other videos, as I make my grocery list and stuff. But I have a master list, so that's a really helpful way to know like what you always want in your home as far as food goes. And then when you're gonna do groceries, check that master list to make your grocery list and then go shop. So I usually shop at Aldi, and every now and then I have no choice but to go to a different store. I try to avoid it because it is more expensive and just a pain. I like Aldi, it's small, in and out, you're good, but they don't have everything we like. So every now and then I'll go somewhere else. Every now and then I'll get something from Amazon that they don't have at the grocery stores. But mostly Amazon, it'll be like organic ramen noodles, like the actual noodles, just the pasta, and cod liver. I get that online. And then I go to Azure Standard and order that once a month in bulk. And then I've got my local farmer for meat and milk, and then I have my own eggs. So food is super important to keep stocked up in my house. Today I'm gonna go get my milk. I have all my eggs. My groceries were done 2 or 3 days ago. I try to go at least once every week and a half or so. And that's probably where most of my expenses go, because I care a lot about having good healthy foods in the house, good healthy snack options, and ingredients on hand for me to make things. I'm not really much of a meal planner. I'm more of a, ooh, I have this meat, what can I make? And then I make it. I have these veggies, what can I make? And then I make it. So that's how I cook. But I hope that answered that question. I'm not 100% sure if that's what you meant, but hopefully that answered that. So I will be making some of these other ones soon. Skin routine and makeup I'll probably make in one video. Hang out in the kitchen, chatting and cooking, heart-filled kitchen. I love those videos too. My only challenge with videos like that these days is how noisy my house is, because I have 2 rambunctious boys running around all the time. The only one of these that I don't anticipate making is the book series. I'm sorry, Fanita. I'm not feeling that right now, but that doesn't mean I'll never do it again. But did you see that there's another book series? I did Becoming the Woman of His Dreams and The Excellent Wife. So hopefully those will keep you satisfied in the meantime. And then I'll definitely do more cooking videos, day in the life videos, and Bible studies. So thank you guys so much for all your suggestions. I really had fun seeing those. Feedback is always helpful, and I will be putting out videos soon. God bless you guys. See you next time.